Hi, everyone. Oh, it's so good to be here. I just want to welcome every single one of you in. I know that you guys will be coming in for the next few minutes, so I am going to give some space and hold some space for that. And I just really, briefly want to introduce myself, which I will again in a couple of minutes. But my name is Juliana Kivett, and I'm an intuitive, and I am just so incredibly honored to be here and to be a part of this really beautiful event. So welcome here, welcome to this space, welcome to the energy that's already happening between us. I'm just ever grateful, and my prayer really is that you would really be able to center into the gratitude and the beauty of what is going to unfold in this next 40 minutes or so. So anyway, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome in, welcome in. Just give a couple more minutes. I really hope that everything that you guys have watched so far has been really empowering and really beautiful, and the chance to be able to go back and to listen to everything again and to just be refreshed and to be rooted even deeper is really such a gift. So I think it's quite beautiful. All right. So I'm gonna begin. I'm gonna dive right in. Again, I want to welcome you. This is a really beautiful talk today about the radiance of dark to light. And so my name is Juliana Kivett. I am an intuitive. I do a lot of healing work. I work with a lot of trauma, and it's really angled in the avenue of self-worth and divinity. And so the reason I named this talk the beauty of dark to light is because there is something so powerful about being able to look straight in the eye with an open heart. All of the shadow and all of the trauma and all of the pain and all of the limits and the things that deep down in your soul do not belong to the wholeness of your divinity, that do not even belong or do not even make sense to the purity of your own soul. We come into this world asking really to just be able to stand firm in who we are and to live that out and to get to discover our purpose, and then to live out of that purpose, to live out of that love, and to live out of that divinity. And so funny enough, we come in as babies, and life is itself, our parents are themselves, and the environments that we go, ebbing and flowing into are all of themselves, and they do leave so many imprints and so many markings, and a lot of the time not for the greatest good. And so that can really transform our original DNA, our original divinity. And so what I do is I come in and I, through the gifting that I have, through the medicine that I carry, I come in and we just open every single thing about your life up. And I get a chance to really hear you and to experience you and to welcome you in and to hold your energy. And not only just your energy, but there is something about the medicine that I carry where I am able to hold your actual history ancestrally and where you truly come from. I'm able to see very clearly the purity of your soul and the divinity that you carry. And then from there, I get to see everything in its way. And so I hear the stories and I hear the lives, and I just sit and I hold space, and all of a sudden I get to see the rootings of all of those things. And we start a journey that way into uncovering and uprooting so your divinity can come and take its rightful place. So it's just a bit of what I do. I will give you a brief account of my own personal roots. I am first generation from Aguascalientes, Mexico. And my dad is the one that brought us here. And so I lived in Mexico up until I started school. And first I was born in East LA, came here just for a short time. He moved us all back to Mexico. And right before I started school, we came back. And what happened in my own personal story, my own awakening, where, this is my own first memory of an awakening, of a deeper intuitive sight, of really connecting to my own divinity. I, you know, I will, let me caution quickly first. This story will speak a little bit of suicide and some medicine that was used post-suicide. So in case this is a trigger, I do want to make that very, very, very clear. I'm not going to go into graphic detail. And so I will just preface with that. So it was my 5th birthday party in Mexico, and my grandmother, whom we lived with, had a farm, and I would feed the animals every day with one of my favorite friends in the whole world. He was a cousin to my dad, and he was older, and we would go and we would feed the animals. And I was very excited because we had just welcomed in a calf, a newborn baby calf, and I woke up early, and I'm making my way out to meet him, and I saw him in a tree, and I knew he was going to try and spook me. I knew he was going to try and jump down from this tree, but I saw him first, and so I thought, you know what, today I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that to him today. And in all of my 5-year-old courage and silliness, I decided to jump out in front of him and try and spook him. He starts laughing, and he just gave me a smile. And this is the last thing not the last thing I remember, but the last piece of beauty that I remember. And so he went to jump down from the tree. He ended up hanging himself right in front of me. And mind you, I'm 5 years old. He's one of my most favorite people in the world. And it was clearly, as anything would be, it was a shock to my system, a very deep shock to my system. And I literally stood there frozen. And my mom and grandmother are the ones who give me the account afterwards, because my memory was gone for about 2 days. And so my mom picked me up, took me into my grandmother's home, and they proceeded to just try to revive me and try to get me out of the shock. But I had been standing there for hours, and the only reason they came to get me was because it was time for my birthday party. And so this is a 3rd world town. They don't come for the children until it's dark out, or the children just go in when it's dark out. A little Puebla. So it was a little town in Mexico, and they couldn't do anything to revive me. So they called off the party. The whole day shifted and changed, and I was in that state of shock. There was no sleeping, no eating, not really moving of my eyelids or anything for two straight days. And so what happened was my grandmother, my abuela, she called her sister, and her sister came on the evening of the 2nd night, and she had with her a bag and a pitcher of water and an egg. And I remember them propping me up in my bed and moving my head so I can face my dresser. And they took a glass out, put it by my bedstand. They filled up the glass about 3/4 of the way with water. And she just started to say these prayers or these things. And these are the things that I slowly started to remember were, the tools used for the prayers and everything they were saying. And they started to say prayers, and they cracked the egg on the dresser, and they put it into the glass of water, and the glass of water started to move, and so did the yolk inside. And the yolk became the tree limb, the rope, and then the figure of a man within that glass of water. And from that point on, I completely snapped out of it. And there was such a radical awakening into my spirit. I felt it in my throat, I felt it in my belly, and I could see so much more with my eyes than I remember seeing prior to that. And so that is how part of my grand awakening came. And so what followed from those years was a lot of not so great days. I did walk through a lot of sexual abuse, a lot of rape, a lot of molestation, and on top of that, I have this newly empathic, vision, this ability to see in spirit, and to see and to feel people's lives and to feel their pain. And when you're 4 and 5 years old, that stuff gets really confusing. It gets really, really confusing, and you tend to gravitate towards fear when there isn't a lot of excess love to remedy it. You just, for your own, for where you are in your own abilities, those are the ages where you're still supposed to be completely taken care of and supposed to be really nurtured and raised a certain way and really built up in your identity. And so when that stuff doesn't exist, you have to make sense of that on your own. And so then when trauma comes like that, trauma is the thing that becomes the truth. And then you begin to wrap your identity around that. And it becomes the way that you see and the way that you live, and in a sense, the way that you relate, or a way that you isolate. And so I had some years of all of that. And it's been a wild ride. I had a second really beautiful awakening when I was 15, which I'm ever so grateful for, because I did come into Christ consciousness at that time. And I was able to connect to the spirit of Christ that I remembered so fondly from being raised Catholic, and Mother Mary, and the angels. And I have all of these powerful ancestral ties to that level of divinity. And that is what spared me for so long. I tried to get help. My parents did try to help me through the trauma of abuse and, even that suicide. And I remember too many times where I was told in my, right to my face, I just don't have the language for you. I don't have what you need. I can't help you. And these are, entrusted professionals and counselors and you name it. And so when I came into my second awakening and realized that there was so much more to spirit than my ability to see pain and to see darkness in people's lives and to see hurt, I came into the awakening of love, and I realized that's what I have. It feels so much more like home to me than anything and everything ever has and still does to this day. I chose to cultivate it. I chose to connect to it in such a deep degree. And what I ended up finding was that anytime I would have a triumph in my own spirit, and anytime I would be able to go to the root of atrocities that had happened to me not too far after, would someone come with a similar circumstance or a similar conversation that would meet what I just gained my divinity back in, what I just gained my freedom back in. And so I chose to start speaking out of the freedom that I had, all the while keeping the honesty of the spaces in my life that I wasn't yet free in, and keeping the openness to what still remained painful. And so I had this in my, in my looking back, I had this balance of keeping the raw and honest truth of where I truly stand, and the raw and honest truth of what has newly transpired and how much more I feel in alignment when it comes to love, infinite love, divine love. And so I just kept living that way, and that followed me for a very long time into, my partnership, into having children. And here I am today. And it's only gotten stronger because I've chosen to cultivate it. I have chosen to not be afraid of the dark, because I did get to come in contact with the tremendous power of love. And I know how to wield both so beautifully, because I had been guided through them by love itself. And yeah, that's what I do, and it's why I do what I do. It met me, it validated me. I chose to remain in integrity with honesty, and here I am. And so a lot of the reason of why I do what I do is because I look at every single person I come in contact with, and I can see them open up before me before they even speak and before they even get too close. A lot of the time I can just hear a name, or it's someone speaking of something else in passing, and these things open up before me. And I have chosen to, treat everyone in this world the way that I am treated by the divine, and where I see the worth first. And that is my driving force in this life, is to see the worth first. And I know full well, and I'm very confident in the reality that nothing about the shadow, and nothing about their trauma, and nothing about the pain, and nothing about the limitations and these conditionings that we are all privy to at one point or another, because of environment, and because of abuse, and because of, you name it, so many things. I am never fearful of how dark the pain is. And I'm able to look at them with the honesty that I carry for myself when I had to go through the sometimes humiliating work of facing my own pain. And I'm able to stand in my love and my integrity. And I'm just able to hold space and not be afraid, or not, want to repel from the dark things that you can see in certain people. And so I love the ability of connecting energetically before I connect relationally to people. And because I can see everything just kind of show up right then and there, it's love that goes before me, and it's the wisdom that I carry in my medicine that goes before me. And so intuitively, whether I ever meet the person, or whether I ever have a conversation with the person, I always check in to see what I can give them energetically in that moment that is so different from the reality of the weight and the oppression that they're carrying. What can I give in that moment, even if it's a prayer? Because I do know that anything I radiate is going to touch them energetically. We're all energy. And so we meet that way, whether we are fully aware or not. And I like to do that as a lifestyle. And so when it comes to the beauty of the dark to light, I'm always reminded of this incredible scripture from my days in the Christian world. I've just, I've taken God completely out of the box. Creator has taken me completely out of a lot of boxes. And so there is this really beautiful scripture that is so life-giving, that says that darkness and light are the same to God. And I remember coming across that as a 14-year-old, and I lived by that for years, because it was at so many points the only light I had to not go into shame, and to not go into guilt, and to be able to keep my eyes open, to keep my heart open when I had to look at a lot of the things that I had suffered, to try and find beauty. And so I have just adopted that truth is really in my actual DNA, where I can look at anyone and I just go, it's the same. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. And if I can invoke that level of worth and that level of healing through whatever means necessary for your life intuitively, I'm going to do it. I am going to do it. And the reason is because you matter. You will always be so much more than the environment you were born into. You came into this world as a divine being. You came into this world with a power of divinity that this world needs to actually know. And so a lot of the times what happens is life tries to tell you who you are. And I get to come in with my own medicine, and we get to flip that script for your life personally, invoke tremendous amounts of healing, change your DNA, give you back your divinity, and you get to stand on the power and the truth of who you are in that divinity. And you get to say, no, world, you get to learn from the divinity that I have always been. You get to learn from that, and you get to receive from my divinity. And it's just this really beautiful foundation of worth. It's a foundation of confidence. It's rooted in honesty. It is so honest and not afraid of the dark. It is so honest, and it is completely open to love. And it will ebb and flow through all of it without flinching. And even when it flinches, there is a courage within your divinity that remains. And you get to be the owner of it. You get to be the authority of it. You get to be the creator of what your life looks like from that very place. And if that isn't beautiful, I don't know what is. I really don't know what is, So with all of that being said, I really held every single one of you that was going to come into this talk as I do. One of my main archetypes is a mother, and it's in my relationship to the world. And just like anything I ever do, whether it be one-on-one with my clients, or whether I do group things, or whether I speak in bigger platforms and on bigger platforms like this, I bring in the complete energy and the rooting of that energy and the people coming, and I just hold you in my own space the way that a mother would. And remember, I look at you with divine love and the love that I am rooted in my own divinity. And I just hold you there, and I just listen to what needs to come through, what can be invoked with this specific energy that I am going to get to connect with today. And I've done so, and it's been really beautiful. I'm so excited to be able to take you through a moment where you can be opened up in the safety of your own home, in the safety of what you call love, and in the safety of the guides that really, really do surround you with peace and with the infinite love, with Creator, with God, whatever you actually are rooted in, that is so holy and so loving, and only that looks at you with the purest love, like you are so perfect. You get to be anchored to that as we open you up and work through a thing or two. So if that sounds lovely for you, I would love to walk you through this invocation and this mini session into a piece of your divinity. I would be honored if you want to journey through with me. And if you don't, listen, I understand. I honor you just the same. I'm just grateful you are here. I am grateful you are here. I am grateful that I got a moment to hold space for you, and that I got a moment to actually hold your beautiful energy. So wherever you find yourself in terms of this exercise, I just give you tremendous honor and tremendous blessing. So I want you to get yourself really settled in, take a breath or two, allow that breath to actually meet your belly, so you know that you are in both your upper energy centers and your lower energy centers. This is about embodiment. I don't do anything halfway or anything like that. We go fully through here. I go fully through here. And I just want to, while you are breathing and while you are just, grounding into your own energy and the beauty of everything that surrounds you, the safety and the honesty that you carry, I want to speak so much blessing over every opening that you are going to allow, because this is in your charge. I will give, but you do not have to allow, and you do not have to receive. You are the one in charge. You are the one in control. And so for every single thing that's about to be opened, that you are going to allow to be opened within you, I just speak a blessing over that. And I just speak a peace and a kindness over that, to surround you from underneath and above and all around. Of course, your guides are always with you, so just start to feel them close. And just close your eyes and connect to the most magical, internal, beautiful world that is your divinity, your soul, your heart, your spirit, whatever it is that you can connect to within intimately. I want you to get right in there and just take your breath inside. Take your awareness inside and just open that heart, open that spirit. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And so as you are in your space and as you are surrounded, I want to quickly open up with what came through as I lead this exercise, this meditation, whatever you want to call it. It is an uprooting. That's what I would call it, an uprooting and a flourishing for sure. And so this is what came up. What came up is me needing to call up from where it wants to rise, from where it wants to be shown, the way that it wants to be seen, the way that you will allow it to be seen. I want to call up one thing in your life that consistently makes you feel like you don't matter. And this is not about straining. This is not about forcing. This is not about wild imagination. This is about allowing for that to come up. Where in your life is there something that consistently sends a message to you that you don't matter? And let that come up. And as it comes up, I want you to get into a really beautiful heart space of self-acceptance to the degree that you carry it, to the degree that you know it. It's going to be in that acceptance that you're going to find compassion. And that is the space energetically that you want to be in. And so for whatever you're seeing, whatever you're feeling, whatever is coming to your mind, however you are being communicated with, I just want you to find the acceptance there. Accept what the consistency is that has made you feel like you don't matter. Accept yourself for what is showing up. And remember, there's honesty, openness, you are in charge. And now that that has shown itself to be what it is, I would love for you to be able to just direct your awareness to that space in your body or in your life. Again, however it came up for you, direct your awareness there. And if it is within you physically or even energetically, if you're feeling it, I would love for you to take your hands and place your hands over that area and connect to that acceptance, that compassion, the openness, and the peace that you're surrounded by. And so place your hands there. And as I'm holding space, I'm really giving a lot of courage and a lot of gratitude to you. And I'm literally just radiating it to you. And so where we're going to go from here is you are holding that space for yourself. Understand that you are in the energy of releasing your own self-compassion and your own acceptance, and you have chosen to look at this, you have chosen to allow it, which means that you carry courage and that you carry the ability to be able to traverse such a thing so you can connect to your divinity. And that's a huge deal. And so with that, I want you to take that courage and I want you to take all of your energy into that space. And I want you to repeat after me because we're going to use our voices as well. And here we go. Just repeat after me. I choose today to see this for what it is, for what it has been, for what it has protected, and for what it has preserved in my life. And I say today that it no longer can take the place of who I truly am. I choose today to discover and to remember what has been mine all along within my divinity, within my soul. And so I choose now to uproot this part and this lie that has told me too many times that I don't matter. I uproot with it every single thing that it has exhausted inside me. I release it now from its origins, and I send them into the hands of love, who knows what to do with all of that more than me. And now just find yourself taking a breath here and just sitting in the energy of neutrality that you've just created through this upheaval and through great care for yourself. And just take a breath and sit in the power of what you've just done. And stay in your awareness and stay present, because we are going to call for the rising of your divinity to be made known. And so go ahead and get back into that space with me, into that area that you're holding. Go right back in there, see the space. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call up that piece of your divinity right up to fill that space and to make itself known to you, to cause a remembering, to cause the knowing, to just tell you the truth of who you really are in place of what you just uprooted, and allow yourself to see it, allow yourself to hear it, allow it to fill that space. And just allow the best welcoming into so much more of yourself than you've known for a while. And as you are doing that, I want to seal you with a lot of protection as you get acquainted with this, as you open yourself up to the allowing of what this means for your life and your words and your authenticity. And so I just speak tremendous blessing, and I seal it and I protect it in the name of love. In the name of love. I'm going to light a little bit of cinnamon here, which is a major protector used in my culture. We love cinnamon. Protects you physically and, of course, spiritually. So I just want to light that on your behalf. And when you're ready, open your eyes and just kind of sit in the newness of who you are. In the newness of who you are, that is radiant in a different way than the beauty of who you are that came in here. And I think I just have a short amount of time left. Yeah, I have 10 minutes left. And I want to dive into a little bit of what the integration looks like. You know, we go through a lot of healing in our lives, and we love all the things, right? We love to pull the cards, and we love to do the breath work, and we love all the tools that really preserve our souls. But it's something so much more powerful when you get to know the power of who you are, apart from things like that just preserve you. When you get to actually stand in your own, on your own, and you get to just be centered and confident in that and live truly out of the essence of your divinity. It's integration. That's the staying power. And so there's a few things that I felt like I needed to tell you quickly on how to integrate these things into your life. So what you just came into the awakening of can actually have a powerful stay within you and really become a part of your identity. That's what your divinity is, right? And so the first thing I wanted to mention was devotion. it is highly, highly, highly important that you build a relationship with the most truthful parts of you, the way you would any intimate relationship. Build that relationship, build that devotion, show up for yourself. Allow then the next one, not the next one, allow your showing up for yourself to just yield what it has to say to you, yield what it has to speak to your intuition, and connect with it. Wrap your trust around it, wrap your heart around it, wrap your beliefs around it, and more important than anything, wrap your actual worth around it. And that's what's going to yield incredible confidence and incredible foundation to the staying power of your divinity and you just saying, this is who I am. And so gratitude is a big thing in showing up for yourself. It opens up the heart and you start vocalizing things that you are grateful for. Like you can start tomorrow morning, you can start before you go to bed tonight, and you can say, Great Spirit, or whomever you call on, Great Spirit, I am so grateful for what I was caused to remember today about myself. Thank you for this, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And before you know it, those thank yous go before you, and you can't even stop your mouth from running, and your heart is blown open, and you get to have a connection with the power of gratitude over the beauty of who you are. And those are things that over time give you so much confidence no one can take away from you. It's like inconceivable to you. It cannot be robbed, it cannot be taken. And if it's bruised, you know that your divinity cannot be burned or removed or killed or destroyed. And so you go back into that devotion and you go back into that center. So gratitude is a huge connector. The allowing is a mighty, mighty, mighty connector where you just sit, you open up your divinity, what you know about yourself, and you allow it to teach you and you allow it to speak to you. You allow it to have a voice and a say in your whole life, in your relationships, in your business, in every aspect of you. And that will also deepen your connection and it will create a powerful embodiment. So that's another one. And, letting yourself envelop all of your beliefs and all of your trust into it. Trust is yours to give. Trust is yours to give. It is a powerful tool in your hand to wield. And so if you can say, yes, I choose to trust this, then we're almost done here. Then wrap yourself around it and it will solidify your worth. So those are just a few things. I know that we don't have too much time left. Let me see if there are any questions. There's one. Let's pull that up. Oh, beautiful. Just a kind word. Thank you so much. Oh man, I wish I could say your name and give it the honor. So I'm just gonna, nope, Jaitara. Gosh, that's beautiful. Holy moly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, so I hope that you guys are able to, come back to this, maybe get some more notes. I know that it was an experience, but I want to leave you with the deepest blessing from my spirit to yours and my deepest gratitude for allowing me into your energy to whatever degree that you allowed my energy in my story and the spirit that I carry. So it's been tremendously beautiful to be a part of this, to allow the awakening of what this means for the world. And I'm humbled and I'm honored, and I just want to thank you. So thank you. Blessings, blessings to every single thing that showed up for you today. All right, so we have a couple more minutes. If anyone has any last remarks or questions, I am here to hold space for them and to answer anything that came up if you are willing. Let's see. I think that may have been it. Yeah. Well, it's just going to be an overflow of gratitude and a little bit of a love fest, but I did want to talk about the guideships that I do offer I do a couple one-on-ones, and I do a collective with women who are healers and teachers and mentors. And so, and also I speak and I storytell. And those are some of the ways that I offer my medicine to the world. And I am best reached through Instagram and Facebook. And my name is Bound in Luz, BOUNDENLUZ. So little English, little Spanish means bound in light. And I'm easily found there. So I wonder if I can, let's see, where can I type in? I mean, I know I only have a couple minutes, so I won't type into the chat, but yes. So again, Juliana Kivett and Bound and Loose, and that's both Instagram and Facebook. And I'm working on transforming my website a little bit more, but you will be able to find me on Guidely, and I'm going to get in there and fine tune my profile for you as well. So thank you so much. I don't know if I should wait here or if I can just end.